So my name's Kade Young, or Kade. Mate, I was born up in Narrabeen on the northern beaches. Played from the ages of about 4 right up to 10, 11 years old. Moved up to Noosa for a couple of years, ended up a couple of years with the Noosa Pirates up there. Ended up moving back down to Narrabeen after that and played, went back to the Narrabeen Sharks, played up until my early 30s. At the age of 13, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. To say it's been a roller coaster would be an understatement. It has had its challenges, but once I started getting into my sort of late teens, early 20s, how do I put it? I guess, I was no different to any other teen, and I didn't want to be treated any differently to any other teen. So, most of the boys that age, and girls, you want to go out and chase the girls and party and whatnot, and I didn't want to be counted as anything different. Once I got into my early 20s though, I realised that, that wasn't the scene for me. I made the decision that I need a fresh start. That fresh start was a move over to Western Australia. Landed myself a job in the mines, working in the mines, just as a TA, trades assistant. I managed to get a really good position, which I finished up on as a crane operator. So working the 100-ton swivel cranes up there. Unfortunately, during my time there, I ended up establishing a couple of blisters on my feet. And who would have thought, a couple of blisters. Unfortunately, being a type 1 diabetic, that's you can talk to any medical professional, and the one thing that they'll say to you about type 1 diabetes is manage your feet. I guess my work ethic / stubbornness got the better of me. I knew that they were there. I was cleaning and dressing them, but I was in need of some major medical attention. So I proceeded on working. Unfortunately, the conditions I was working in, you're working in average 40-degree temperatures. It's hot, dusty, sweaty. Everything that can contribute to major infection. Unfortunately, the infection got into my blood and eventually got into my bone. Once it gets to the bone, it's something called osteomyelitis, and the absolute majority of cases does require amputation. I remember the day I put my hand up. The infection was tracking up my leg. It was tracking up that bad. It was excruciating. So I put up the white flag and went and seen the nurse at the mine sites, and I don't think the nurses freaked out any more than what she seen me. So much so that she called in an emergency flight, instantly put in with IV antibiotics into me, and I was transferred straight down to Perth, down to a Perth hospital down there, where I spent 3 months. 3 months on heavy antibiotic. I remember laying in my bed one day, I was just watching some TV, and the doctor's coming with his team, and you sort of know it's a bit serious when the doctor actually comes and sits next to you. And I looked at the doc, and I'm like, mate, what's going on? And he's looked at me, he goes, look, Kade, I'm going to be blunt with you, I'm going to be honest with you. Look, we don't have the resources here to continue what we're doing. We're going to have to look at major amputation. Now at that time, I'm a young bloke. I've got my whole life ahead of me. I sat there on the bed, I was speechless. I was looking at the doc, and I'm like, and I said, Doc, no, there's got to be something else we can do. I've got to get back to work. I want to get this fixed up so I can get on with my life. This can't happen. The doctor said to me, he said, look, mate, you said you got family back in Sydney, is that correct? I said, yeah. He goes, right, we're going to book an emergency flight from WA to Sydney for you. All right, we want you to go to a hospital on the northern beach, the North Shore, sorry. He goes, we want you to see the infectious disease team, the fracture clinic team there. He goes, if anyone can save your feet, they will. So my mindset was, let's do it, let's go. I want to get this fixed, I want to get back to having a life. So the next couple of days, they'd organised an emergency flight over for me. During this time, I've still got antibiotics. I had 3 intravenous antibiotics running through my arms. Had a nurse come on board with me. They ended up flying me back over, and as soon as I landed, I was straight into this hospital, where I spent another 3 months. Over time, the team there that I was under, we managed to get the infection under control. I'd lost 3 toes during that time though. There was 3 toes there that just couldn't be saved. I was made to wear what's called total contact casts, or TCCs. Total contact cast, well, when you break your leg, you get a plaster cast on your leg. It's similar to that, only you can take these on and off to, you know, shower and stuff like that. It wasn't all roses though. I got released from hospital, but under strict conditions. I had to have my feet up constantly. You know, I couldn't do anything. It felt as though I was incarcerated in my own house. So sure, you can go home, absolutely, but you can't do anything. And that made me depressed. I was lucky enough that, as I said, I lived on the northern beaches. We lived right on the lake. You know, and every summer you'd see people swimming and kicking the footy around and walking their dogs and building sandcastles, you know. And there I was laying on this couch with a fan on me. This went on for 6 years. 6 years I was in these total contact casts. I guess the defining moment was when my mental health deteriorated to the point where I became suicidal. I remember sitting on the chair. Then I remember standing on the chair. And I remember looking up. And in our house we got all these beams, rafters going across the house. I thought my time in the mines would have taught me how to tie a good knot. Next thing, bang, I'm on the ground. And I'm looking up. And as I'm looking up, I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this. This is not me. I don't want to be like this. I want to get on with my life. So I went and sought help. A few weeks later, I went and seen the team up at the hospital, and I said to the surgeon, I said to him, look, Doc, what are my options? What can I do to go back to having a life? Doc says to me, he goes, son, you've got 2 choices here. 1, we can either keep on doing what we're doing, or 2, we lop them off. Doc said to me, he goes, look, don't give me an answer now. I want you to come back in a month's time. But in that month's time, I want you to go and do your homework. I want you to go and do your research. I want you to go and talk to people. I must have talked to about 20 or 30 people. The majority of people were very hesitant in talking about it, which is understandable, you know. But I met this one gentleman, and he was an amazing guy. This guy served our country. He was in the military, and he unfortunately lost his below knee legs in a time of war. But I must have sat with him for about 2 or 3 hours. Just one of the questions I asked him was, how do you deal with it? And he turned around and he goes, mate, he goes, I had no choice, you do. But it all comes down to your attitude and your mind frame. This is what's going to help you in the long run. Coming from a rugby league background, I got the gist of where he was coming from. My years of playing rugby league, as with anyone that's played on the footy field, you know, your coaches and trainers give you that mindset of do not get defeated. Never give up. And that was something that's been instilled with me all my life. I ended up going back to the hospital. The doc said to me, he goes, all right, mate, have you made a choice? I said, Doc, let's do it. He said, I want to get back to having a life. If it means lopping these off, so be it. I want to get back to who I was. We managed to get in May 10th last year. Right, that was the date of the procedure. I remember that day, like I was with my partner at the time, you know, and I actually felt pretty good. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't, you know, I was like, oh, mate, let's go, let's do it. Went in and had the procedure. I remember, you know, as I was going in, they gown you up and run you through all the procedure. Yep, cool, all good. Had the procedure done, but I remember waking up the next morning, and I've never felt pain like I felt during this time. The pain was that bad, I'll never forget it. The pain was that bad that I bent the bar on the side of the bed. I was screaming. The whole ward. It was excruciating. And then I remember they ran me back down to surgery. There I am laying on this bed, I'm seeing these lights flickering, they were running. You know, I had my partner there, I had my brother there. And just the waves of, like, the only way I could describe it is like electric pain, you know, electric nerve pain going down to your stumps. And it was excruciating. But that whole time it was excruciating. In the back of my head, I said to myself, this is not going to beat me. This is not going to beat me. The whole way down the hallway. till they threw me onto the operating table. Ended up masking me up, knocking me out, and they fixed it. You know, I spent roughly another 2 weeks at the hospital, and then I got transferred down to beautiful Goulburn. So yeah, look, everybody's got goals. If you don't have goals, there's no point living. You've got to have something to strive and achieve for. I've got my goals. My first one is I want to get back on my motorbike. The next two, we want to go to base camp. I've always had a passion for the Himalayas and mountains and whatnot, so that's the next goal after that. And I also want to look at getting back into rugby league, but I'm looking at getting into wheelchair rugby league. They're the goals for now. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of people ask me, you know, I get a lot of people all the time that ask me, you know, like, oh, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this? So I said, well, it's simple, you know. I'm playing the cards have been dealt, because every day is not going to be sunshine and rainbows. You're going to have your down days. Everybody does. But it's your mindset, it's your attitude, it's how you look at those that is going to define you as a person. Well, I've just started up my own business. It's a passion of mine, and I want to get into, well, not want to get into, I'm already into it. I'm doing motivational and public speaking. I've been around to several schools and a lot of sporting clubs. I guess talking a little bit about my journey, but as I said, it's more about, you know, the mindset that I adopted, you know, and the attitude that I've adopted to conquer these traumas in my life and conquer these challenges in my life. I want to help, I want to support you guys with the challenges and the hurdles in your life and show you guys that adopting this mind frame, you can do it. I don't like to put tags on myself, but I am living proof. That's what I want to do. I mean, I'm forever grateful for Family League, for what they've done for me. This organisation and what they do, especially for the football community, and it's just not people that play footy, it's for everyone that is based around the football community, to be able to start something like this to help out people that are in their need. Why wouldn't you want to join? This organisation do amazing things, and for a simple small membership fee to be able to contribute and help like that, but you'd be silly not to. And I just want to thank Family League so much for what they've done for me.